Okay, first impression review of this new cymbal I've got here. It is the Meinl 20-inch Extreme Metal Ride. I thought I would get one of these because I like my big bell rides, and these are they don't do the Soundcaster Custom Mega Bell 22, which ideally I would have gone for. Can't get one anywhere at the moment. So I thought I would get one of these. These come in 18-inch and a 20. I went for the 20. I might get the 18-inch in the future. And I was really curious about it. I've never had any Meinl cymbals before, but I've decided to get some. And this was my first point of call. So I love Mega Bells. This is a B10 cymbal, so that would put it sort of a mid-range cymbal. I normally don't buy mid-range cymbals. I get high quality AAX, A Customs, what have you, B20 alloy, which for anyone that doesn't know, it's the 20 is basically 20% tin, and the other 80% being, copper, bronze, whatever mix that particular company uses. So on the cheaper cymbals, Meinl and Paiste seem to excel at making good B10 and in Meinl cases B12, which is obviously 12% tin, 10% tin, and usually the higher percentage of tin you have, the more expensive the cymbal. So these are the classic custom metal range, which I'll be getting some cymbals from, is B10. So that puts it in sort of mid-range, almost, it's budget-friendly cymbals. And I think it's important that we investigate these sort of things as well, because as much as we'd all prefer it, not many of us are professional drummers. Hard to be that in this day and age, and even, professional drummers use these things. One of my most favourite drummers of all time, John Birkland, that used to be in Devil Driver, now of Bad Wolves. He uses one of these, the 20-inch variety. And when I saw he had one of these, I thought, well, if it's good enough for John, it's good enough for me. So off I popped and got one. So I have to say, I've not done too much testing with it, but I have to tell you, for this price of cymbal, I think these are about £170 to 200, maybe £210. Euros would obviously be a wee bit more, but for this money, it's literally half the cost of a B20 Mega Bell. It's an impressive cymbal. So it's a big thumbs up for me. The sound of the main body of the cymbal, the normal riding area, this area here is really good, really clear, nice stick definition. The bell has a really nice sweet chime to it. It's actually, I think, I had a Zildjian Mega Bell. That was my ride cymbal of choice for a long time, probably about 10 years, and then I moved on to the Sabian HH Power Bell, which I used for about 4 or 5 years. And out of those two, I actually slightly preferred the Sabian, because it had a nice, more musical bell than the Zildjian. Zildjian Mega Bell is obviously an awesome cymbal, but the Power Bell edged it for me because it was just an overall more musical cymbal. And I'd say the bell on this is slightly more towards the Sabian Power Bell. It's not the same, but it's got that similar musical sort of quality, whereas the Zildjian was basically a bit of a battle axe. It sounded nice, but it was just a ping machine. You can tell a Zildjian Mega Bell ride a mile away, I think. The bell on this, to me, it doesn't really sound much different from the bell on the Soundcaster Mega Bell ride. It seems to have a similar characteristics and quality, which I was really pleased about. The only slight disappointing thing with the symbol is, and it's not a big issue, especially at this price, you look at the profile, that for a Mega Bell ride, the profile, it's a big bell, about 8 inches I think, which is your standard sort of Mega Bell size. It doesn't protrude that much. It's not that prominent. The bell on the Zildjian Mega Bell is very prominent. The one on the HH Power Bell is more like this. It's a bit more recessed into the symbol. Although I'd say this is a slightly lower profile than the Sabian Power Bell. But you're not going to miss it. It protrudes enough. It's not extreme, but it protrudes enough, and that's the only slight negative thing I can see. Presentation in the symbol is really good. I got this one second hand for a ludicrous price of £79, and it was only £6.95. I bought that from Sound Attack in the UK. I've bought cymbals from them in the past, and I happened to be I was on the hunt for a Soundcaster Mega Bell, and I happened to find this, and I had to do a double take at the price, and I was like, I'm having that, because it was in my mind to get one of these anyway, because I knew they don't make the Soundcaster anymore, which is a big pity, because they sound like awesome cymbals. So I pulled the trigger. But I have to say, everybody who wants a Mega Bell ride should be looking at this cymbal. If you can't quite afford, what's the price on the Zildjian Mega Bells, the A heavies? They're about £300 new, maybe slightly less, maybe slightly more. But I can tell you, you need to check one of these out, because you might very well prefer it. And actually, on the testing I've done so far, I would say I definitely prefer this to the Zildjian Mega Bell. Whether I prefer it to the HH Power Bell is another thing, but I tell you, between that and the Power Bell, the Sabian Power Bell, it is very close. And the Sabian HH Power Bell new is £400 plus. So this literally you could get for under half the price. And there's no issue with quality. It feels, to touch it, to look at it, you wouldn't look at it and think that, yeah, that's a budget mid-range cymbal, and it doesn't sound like one either. I know I'm yammering on, but at the end of the day, this is a full review, and I think if you're going to be spending any money on cymbals, you need to know, and that's the whole point of why I do this. So apologies, but it is a review, and I will yammer on to my heart's content. So let's have a wee listen. So I don't know about you. It is loud, which is very reassuring because sometimes you get cheaper cymbals. The only other time I've bought cheaper cymbals in recent years was I was in a bit of a fix. My Sabian crashes, my AX metal crashes broke, and I had a series of gigs at the biggest venue in town, and I needed cymbals quick smart, so I plumped for Paiste Alpha metal crashes. I got an 18 and a 19-inch crash, which served me very well. You could they were nice. They were icy, quite high pitched. They were a bit like cheaper Roods, but with a brilliant finish. They were B10 cymbals, very reasonable price. These are kind of what I'd class these as. Meinl sort of class of cymbal is the Paiste Alpha, but I would say so far I think if this cymbal's got anything to go on, I'd say Meinl have got pretty much licked when it comes to B10 cymbals, because this for this sort of price range of cymbal is just incredible. I don't know how it sounded to you in the video. I'll watch it back later, but it is loud. That bell was killing me in here, and I've had the other two rides in here, the Mega Bell and the Power Bell, and that had this one. There's no loss of volume or clarity. Just incredible. The bell is really piercing, and it's got a nice. It's a different sort of nice chime and cut to the bell than the other two, and it to my ear it does sound. I've never had a Soundcaster Mega Bell. I do want one. Whenever I can find one, I'm going to get one. But looking at the videos I saw, the bells sound extremely similar. And now I've got it here in person. I have to say it is a beast for any money. You know, this is worth a lot more than the price Meinl charged for it. So my vote is, if you don't want to spend the earth in a Mega Bell ride, just buy one. They're floating around now for about £100. You know, you just have to get one. The 18-inch looks very appealing as well. The evidence I've seen, because it's a smaller 18-inch size, the bell seems to take over a wee bit, and it seems to raise the pitch of the bell slightly, which I think is a really good thing. The videos I've seen, it's maybe the 18 has got the slightly sweeter bell for some reason. I'd have to get one and test it against this, but for my purposes, I couldn't go with an 18-inch ride for my purposes. It just wouldn't work. For me, I do a lot of almost sort of fill accents off the bell and main part of the cymbal in songs, you know, like double hits and all that sort of thing. So I don't think I could get away with an 18. I need a 20 because I need that area to ping off to get both sticks off, if you know what I mean. But this is really promising for the classic custom line, which I will be getting more cymbals of, probably a metal crash. I've got another Meinl cymbal here that I'm going to review in a minute. But yeah, if anyone's thinking about getting one of these, or you need a Mega Bell ride and you're short of funds, don't want to spend the earth, just do it. I can tell you the value is there. You'll not be disappointed if you're a loud metal heavy rock guy, because you definitely wouldn't be able to use this in anything other than, I don't even know if you get away with it in rock or heavy rock, because it is a loud cymbal. Surprisingly loud at this price point. So yeah, for me it's a big thumbs up. Because of the price, I wouldn't hesitate in giving this a 9 out of 10, to be honest. I'm that impressed with it. So there you go. I might do a review with the electric drum kit playing a wee beat, but it's kind of hard, the space I have, I can't mount the camera properly. But there we go, that's my initial review of the Meinl Classic Customs Extreme Metal Mega Bell Ride. Get one.